everyone, so today I'm going to walk you through the RF and EMC type approval requirements of Vietnam. This is a popular country for approvals at Eleos, and given their prompt success in containing COVID-19 and potentially faster economic recovery, we expect this trend may continue. So Vietnam's regulator is the Ministry of Information and Communication, or MIC. The type approval regulations are quite dynamic, with changes introduced comparatively regularly, including a number of changes that will come into effect as of July this year. Also worth noting is that when Vietnam introduced changes to their standards, this usually is applied retrospectively, meaning that additional testing must be conducted and approvals updated in order to continue shipping into Vietnam. Certification is required for all RF devices being imported into Vietnam. The route to certification, however, varies depending on the type or classification of the product, whether or not the product is manufactured in ISO 9001 certified factory, and the location of the laboratory where the product was tested for CE compliance. So firstly, regarding classification of the product, MIC published two lists, one indicating those products subject to mandatory EMC SDOC only, the other indicating those products subject to both mandatory SDOC and formal RF type approval. The majority of RF products are subject to both requirements, though as you may have seen in our recent news update, as of the 1st of July this year, more products, including those listed here, will be pushed to the SDOC only category. Where both certification schemes are to be followed, the two can proceed in parallel. Looking firstly though at the type approval certification process, type approval is issued by a Verification and Certification Centre of the Vietnam Telecommunications Authority, or VNTA. There are three centres, one each in Hanoi, Ho Chi Minh City and Da Nang. Product testing is required at a testing laboratory designated by MIC Vietnam or an overseas testing laboratory recognised by MIC Vietnam under MRA. At present, only labs in the US, Canada, Singapore and Korea have been recognised under the MRA arrangement. The current recognised labs list is included as a link to this video. Vietnamese standards are generally harmonised with European standards. Customs clearance for samples in Vietnam and the product testing process tend to be relatively straightforward, so the full type approval process can usually be concluded within around 4 to 6 weeks, depending on whether local testing is conducted. Note that from the 1st of July there will be a variation to the certification process for products manufactured at factories without ISO 9001 certification. For this case, factory inspection will be required and samples for testing may be selected from the factory directly. For the SDOC process, historically the importer, but from the 1st of July, the foreign manufacturer, must prepare a Product Quality Inspection Registration or PQIR application. This is a requirement for each consignment of the product shipped into Vietnam and must include a signed SDOC, the airway bill and commercial invoice for the consignment, as well as the type approval certificate for products subject to the TAC requirements, and EMC and safety test reports. As with the type approval process, the test reports used must be issued by a Vietnamese Verification Certification Centre or by a overseas lab under MRA. No certificates are issued under this process. It is instead considered concluded once the complete and compliant application dossier has been submitted. The full SDOC process is usually concluded within 3 to 4 weeks. Historically, a local representative in Vietnam has been required to be appointed as both the type approval holder and signatory of the SDOC for EMC. As a result, however, of the changes wrought by Circular 10/2020 being implemented on the 1st of July this year, foreign manufacturers will be able to apply for approval directly in their own name and to sign their own SDOC. Also, as of the 1st of July this year, Vietnamese approval will be valid for 3 years, increasing from 2 years at present. The renewal process can be conducted paperwork only, provided that the test reports are still valid and there have been no changes to the test standards. In our experience, however, Vietnam tend to update the standards quite regularly, so for planning purposes it may be best to assume that retesting will be required. Products approved for use in Vietnam must be labelled with the ICT mark shown here. There is a minor variation to the labelling requirement for products shown subject to the SDOC requirement only. For these cases, the VNTA code is omitted from the label. If you have any questions or require any support with your Vietnamese approvals, then please get in touch.